You see. Now I'm sharing the screen with you. You can see the screen, right? So these are the topics that we began with, the topics that we talked about, that will analyze the question papers of past advertisements, that is 46, 47, and 50. We'll see, and we have done that already, we'll see the relation of syllabus with question papers. We have been analyzing the syllabus, nearly reached the end. So today, we'll begin with analysis of syllabus and go forward. We'll see the result and cutoff trends, then talk about the probable types of questions in the paper that are going to come, especially the paper that is right in front of us, strategy for studying well, and how to focus on UPHESC. But before that, I hope the previous webinar was clear and there is no question in your mind regarding that. Basically, we did the syllabus analysis. So I hope you went back to the syllabus and saw it once more. And today we'll go to section units 9 and 10. Unit 9, as some of you for the last few minutes were not with us, two of you came back and we completed the thing. With Zoom, we have this 40-minute limit, so that is the reason. Now in unit 9, that is the linguistics unit, the whole section was rewritten from 46, 47 to 50, 51. The whole unit was rewritten. And because it was rewritten, you can very clearly see there is a break between the type of questions that they have been asking in 46 or 47 and the type of questions they are now asking in 50 and 51. Especially because they have added a few sections like ELT and ESP that was not in previous syllabus, language planning that was not in previous syllabus. In stylistics also, they have added discourse analysis and literary criticism. In syntax, they have added Chomsky's TG and Leach's communicative grammar. In phonetics, they have added consonant clusters, syllables, and word stress. In the basics, in the beginning of it, the branches and all, with that, they have added Saussure's concepts of linguistics and mutability and immutability. So you can very clearly see that they have now made the syllabus standard. Earlier, it was a skeletal, as you can see, 1 to 11. Now it is a standard. And a bit problematic, but then we'll talk about that later. The largest change, the biggest change was this unit number 10. From where it came, that has to be seen. I made my analysis and I've highlighted with green the areas in this syllabus that are from the syllabus of University of Allahabad, MA, directly copied and pasted from MA syllabus of University of Allahabad. And the yellow highlight areas are the areas that are directly from the syllabus of Lucknow University, MA. So you can see that most of the texts prescribed here are from University of Allahabad. And then some of them in Canadian literature, only in Canadian literature, are from Lucknow University. And Nadine Gordimer's English language, literature, and politics in South Africa is not from any of these universities. And as far as I have checked, I have not found any university in which this text is prescribed. If it was prescribed in your university, although I don't know which university you were, but if it was prescribed in university, you may tell me. But at present, because I'm looking at the mind of those who made the syllabus, ergo the mind of those who made the paper, you can see that either we are talking about professors of Allahabad and Lucknow University who made the syllabus, or we are talking about people who were inspired by the professors of Allahabad University generally, and a little bit of them from Lucknow University. So I repeat, this syllabus was made either by the professors of Allahabad University and Lucknow University, or this syllabus was made by some of their students, whatever it is. I mean, if you do see a pattern and a connection between these two universities and this unit 10 syllabus, then you go back, and when you check in this one, we don't have previous syllabi, but take my word for it. When you go back and check the syllabus of, for example, American literature, Indian literature, and so on and so forth, you will be able to connect the syllabus of UPHESC with the syllabus of Allahabad University and Lucknow University, but major chunk will be from Allahabad University. I have not been able to locate the syllabus of linguistics yet. And the reason is that Allahabad University PDF does not have detailed elective syllabus, and linguistics is an elective. So that is that. We have reached the point where we now know that there is some kind of link between syllabus and two big universities around, or in some radius of a few 100 kilometers of Allahabad, especially Allahabad University. From there, we can go to the interview and also check. There also we see that experts from Allahabad University, Lucknow University, Kanpur University, and Banaras University, every day or every alternate day, at least as far as English literature is concerned, you can see them there. So when in the interview, we know that experts from these universities are there, and the syllabus we see has got text from these university syllabus directly. So we can guess a little bit of it, at least with some certainty, that the question paper setters also probably are from those universities. And when they set the questions, naturally, the kind of things that they teach and the kind of text that they teach and the way in which they teach will become important. So that is something that we'll catch up with later. We need to analyze the mind of the paper setter. This is a very important thing. First of all, the identity of the paper setter. This is a hint at the identity. If you want to say anything at this point of time, please do speak. If there is any problem, if there is something that you suspect is not right in this analysis, because it's my analysis, solo analysis, and I've not discussed it with anyone but with you. I'm talking about it. So if you see some loophole in this analysis, please do tell me so that it can be made stronger. No. Okay, Ansh Sharma ma'am, is this analysis sounding okay to you?
Yeah, I know for sure that teachers from Lucknow University have been part.
And Deepti Mishra ma'am, is this analysis okay? I mean, do you agree with it?
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, by any chance is sir around?
No, sir. No,
Oh,
sir.
today we needed him, but then okay, today he's not there. But yeah, thank him, ma'am, for yesterday's presence. I could not call him, but thank him very much. And Sayanti Palit, ma'am, what about this analysis? Were you there when we were analyzing the 10th unit?
No, sir. I joined just now.
Okay, I'll give you a highlight of it. So the yellow highlighted portions in Unit 10 are from the syllabus of MA English, Lucknow University, and they are not in the syllabus of Allahabad University. And the green highlighted portions are from Allahabad University. I'm not sure, but at least a couple of them are in the University of Lucknow syllabus also. So as you can see, barring one at the bottom, Cordima, all the texts are from Lucknow or Allahabad University syllabus and not from BHU, not from MGKV, not from Kanpur. I mean, not from these universities. They are specifically from these two universities. And also we know we have some experience of the interview boards and teachers that come over there, because some of them are well recognized. So from that, I was concluding that starting from making of syllabus, going up to the day of interview, because these two universities are very deeply linked with UPHESC examination pattern. Therefore, probably they have got some part that is big, you may say, in setting of English literature paper also. So that was my analysis. And if it is true, then we based on that analysis, we can also try and look at the way they teach and look at the way they ask questions and the content that is there, and guess the paper a little bit. So that was the analysis. Now that you have heard it, so what do you think about it?
Sir, though I am actually from Jharkhand, so I don't have idea of their syllabus there of
Yeah,
Allahabad
right.
University,
No,
Lucknow University.
I also had no idea. I downloaded their syllabi and analyzed their syllabi. I downloaded syllabi of, I saw that, and others told me also that people from Kanpur, from Lucknow, from Allahabad, from BHU. The professors from these universities were there in the interview board. So I downloaded the syllabi of all these universities and other universities also, DU and JNU also. And then I saw that this uncanny kind of trend is there. And that's why I'm sharing
Yes.
the trend.
So, because yesterday I was analyzing the West Bengal set paper for
Right.
my students. So I found that though there is no specific syllabus like UPHESC in set or net, but they have actually given the text from the big universities of West Bengal, like University of Bardhaman or Kolkata. So this is a trend, I think, everywhere, that they put the text from the major universities of that state.
In fact, ma'am, I suspect that it's not that they are putting the text. It is that the person who is putting the text actually has specialized in those texts for 2 decades, probably. So the questions that come out of that person's maybe even subconscious mind, these questions are naturally the questions that are taught in their university. And because they are from the, the central, the most important university of any zone. So I think that my logic can work with every kind of big examination. You go into the mind of the syllabus and paper setter, and there is a chance of you being able to guess the kind of question that will be asked. But then we have instructions also. Yesterday you were not
Yes.
there. So in UPHESC 46 and 47, there was an instruction of not asking complex questions. Therefore, when we analyze later, you will see they did not ask many complex questions. But that instruction was removed in 50-51. So now they have started asking a large number of complex questions. Complex questions, the variety that we find, a more difficult variety that we find in UGC NET and TNET papers. So there is a pattern. There is a pattern. That was about the syllabus. Now we'll go directly to the question papers.
Okay.
Okay, I appeared in 46 and 50. So I had the papers myself. And 47 I downloaded from the internet. I did not have the paper. Now I'm not talking about GS at all. I'm only talking about English literature, that is 70 questions. I repeat, I'm not talking about the 30 questions of general studies. This presentation, the complete presentation, is only about English literature, 70 questions. So 46 out of 70 questions, 59 questions were of average level. Now, this is a very problematic term, average level, because for me, I'm average. So if I saw a question that a student like me, or a student of question range like me could attempt correctly, then I called it average. Now, your average may be above or below me, but I tried to be neutral. I mean, not very much biased in this. And you can see that, and even you will agree with me that when you start from 46 and come towards 50, the level of difficulty increases. And the level of difficulty increases means that an average student, an average person of MA pass out, even who has cleared NET, will be able to successfully attempt lesser number of questions as the level increases and the complexity increases. And you can see that it has been consistently increasing, the level of complexity and the level of difficulty. So this is my analysis. The number of questions may change in your analysis, but the pattern will remain, I can assure you. I have personally checked, the pattern will remain. The number, plus minus 1, 2, 3, whatever your level is, and then you will find it that maybe 60 questions here in 46 were from average level, or 55 questions were from average level. But then in 47, by the same token, you will find lesser number of questions, and 50, much less the number of questions. So I'm projecting from there to here, because in 59 and 52, the level was kept average by instructions. In 51, the instructions were removed, so they started making it complex. And when they made it complex, they tried to mimic the pattern of standard set or net examination. And then in 51, my projection is that average level questions will be less than 45. Okay, as it is coming down, so it will come down. This is questions from average level. Now there are questions that and we'll talk about them in detail later. I can give you examples, okay, because I made my paper by paper analysis and I noted down questions also. So there are some questions that only need you're knowing yes or no kind of or factual kind of data or one line kind of data. And there are some questions that are more time taking that need you to read all the four options very carefully and then analyze and then logically conclude on the basis of some process that this is the answer. That is the time taking question, the analytical questions with no direct answer. Such questions were, I counted, only 5 in 46. The number increased to 9 in 47 and 2 times, that is 18 in 50. I repeat, from 5 to 9 directly to 18. And again, I can relate it with the instruction in the beginning of 46 and 47 syllabus. Obscure / complex questions should be avoided. It was very clearly mentioned. We talked about it yesterday. I highlighted that. And you can very clearly see that the professors followed the guideline of setting up the question paper. And so they kept it to the minimum in 46 and 47, but then jumped in 50. And if the trend continues, and I see no reason why the trend will not continue. And I also see a reason for us believing in the trend continuing. We'll talk about that a little bit later. So more than 25 questions will be analytical questions, not one line or direct answer questions. So these 2 points, I hope you have understood. If there is any problem in that, do tell me. One, that average persons will be able to do less than 45 questions in 51, and that 25 questions will be analysis based, not direct answer questions. So that is, they will take more time and more analysis from you. Questions from other than prescribed text, if it is a text based question. For example, I do remember, I have even noted down in advertisement 46, there was Ramanujan's Conventions of Despair. That was not in the syllabus, that was not prescribed, and a direct question was asked from that poem. And then there was one question in which a poem of Dickinson's, A Certain Slant of Light, line was given from that poem. That poem was not prescribed in the syllabus. So because 46 was the first written paper, therefore they did not probably have idea that they should not do this, but after that they have the idea. So questions from other than prescribed text pertaining to the text that are not in the syllabus, 5 of them were asked in 46, 0 asked in 47, 0 in 50. I totally believe that 0 will be asked in 51 also. They will not go out of the syllabus. They will focus totally on the syllabus and they will go deep. So they will give you 18 in 50 deep from the syllabus, not outside the syllabus. And then they will do the same with 51, deep from the syllabus, not outside the syllabus. Because of RTI and all kind of things, they're not taking chances. They're sticking to the syllabus, and they have instructions very clearly given too. And then questions that required first hand reading of the text. Why? By that I mean, for example, the guide. If you have read the summary of the guide and the names of the characters and what they do, you can answer many questions. Naturally, you can. But there are some questions that you can answer only if you have a very, very detailed summary of the guide, which is not available on the internet, or if you have directly and first-hand read guide. Where did Raju go when he first left the prison? I don't think it is in any summary. Have you seen it in any summary? Any one of you? Or what did Raju give to Rosie, the first gift? Is it in any summary that you have seen? That's not a rhetorical question. You may even answer.
No, sir.
So, I mean, had it been in any summary,
No,
I would
sir,
have
but I
prescribed.
think
Yes, ma'am, you think? Go on.
I have seen it in some other questions. As I was solving the question paper of GTC and all these things,
Right.
I'm able to remember the exact question paper, but I've seen it somewhere.
This has been seen in GS paper also, ma'am. They copy questions from RPSC, they copy questions from GDC, and even from PGT examination. So yes, you are very much right. I'm earmarking that for a separate session. they copy questions, and they when they
Yes.
copy the question, they copy all the 4 options also. In Vedantu, you can find many answers of UPHESC, GS, and English literature questions. So that is very much true. That is very much true. But then again, we'll talk about that. But you cannot find them in any summary that is generally available on the internet, or even that is generally available in the guidebooks, because summary, by very definition, don't go into detailed analysis. So either you have a full question bank of all possible kind of examinations, or you have read the text firsthand. So, we presume that reading firsthand is easier than making a question bank of n number of papers. So first-hand reading of the text-based questions, there were only 5 in 46, 8 in 47, 15 in 50. Out of 70, 15 questions, they were first-hand reading based questions. For example, the question on Hind Swaraj, the question on Macaulay's Minute, the question on Vivekanand's Chicago lecture, they demanded you to have read the text, or as Sayanti ma'am said, to have seen the question beforehand. So now either you have thoroughly analyzed a large number of sets of papers of some other examinations, or you have read all the texts, prose texts of that kind of length from which the questions are asked. So I'm presuming that, again, first-hand reading is more focused and easier. And then when they actually stop doing this, should I say shameless copy? Okay, because they copy from pages of guidebooks in Hindi question paper. So let's not brand it. Okay, copying, not shameless. So copying. So when they stop copying, they will make original questions. And when they start making original questions, the questions will be analytical questions, not direct answer questions, as we see more than 25 projected in 51. And the questions will require first-hand reading of the text, as we can see approximately 20, that includes analytical questions in 51. I don't have a statistical base for the projection of 51. It's a combination of my guessing, combining syllabus and the mindset of professors that we talked about, and the trend in the papers. But I presume that, and I'll show you the reason later also, that this will not go very wide off the mark. Now, when we continue the analysis, direct quotations from the texts of all kind of text, novel, drama, poem, direct quotations from the text and asking from which text it is. That kind of question is keeping a constant level at 10%. 7 out of 70 questions are direct quotations, and you have to identify the text, or vice versa, something like that. So as it has kept to 7, even if they reduce the number, a couple of them, they will not totally erase these kind of questions. They are popular. You remember that there is a body of professors that have been making these papers in the past. I will not say that a lot of mutation will occur in that body in what 2, 3, 4 months. Therefore, 7 questions or 5 to 7 questions will be direct quotations from various kind of texts. And we talked about detail. These are from poem, prose, and novel, not from play. Play and criticism are different. So deep detail from poem, prose, or novel. Exceptionally high number of questions, 12 in 50. Even if they reduce, 10 questions will still be asked. And work and genre based question, they are keeping it close to 5. And there is no reason why it will go very high or very low. So close to 5. Barring general background questions, the paper has questions from the prescribed texts only. And that's a very wonderful thing. So if you could focus your note making upon texts that are prescribed, then there are very high chances of your guessing the question and actually your notes having a large number of questions that are asked. It happens. Now, before we continue any further, let me tell you that today I intend to end the whole thing. So at the end of 40 minutes, automatically, the session will be ended by Zoom. The same link will work. Please do come back for 10, 20, 15 minutes, whatever is left, so that we can cover the whole thing. I repeat, the same link will function. If the session ends automatically, please do rejoin. I will restart the session. Now, the probable level of difficulty, there is a famous Pascal's wager. I copied from Pascal's wager. So these are the ways in which you can look at it. You can either guess that advertisement 51 will be more difficult than previous advertisements, will be less difficult than previous advertisements, will be equal in difficulty to previous advertisement. Now, you may have your own reasons of believing whatever you are believing in, but I think that believing that it will be less difficult than or less complex than the previous advertisements is a bit illogical, but still, because that's a possibility. So advertisement 51 is more, equal, or less difficult than 46, 47, 50. Now your guess may be correct or it may be incorrect. In case your guess is correct, all the three cases, more, equal, or less, you don't lose anything. But then if your guess is wrong, that is, if you guess that it is less difficult than previous advertisements, but it comes out to be equally difficult or more difficult, then you lose. You lose because you have prepared for a less difficult paper. When you guess that it is equally difficult to the previous ones and your guess is right, there is no loss. When your guess is wrong, it is either more difficult or less difficult than previous advertisement papers. If it is more difficult, you lose. If it is less difficult, you win. But then 50% chances of loss, therefore, are there when your guess is wrong. But then when you guess that advertisement 51 difficulty level is more than previous advertisements, and even if your guess is wrong, if the guess is right, you win. If your guess is wrong also, still because you have prepared for a tougher level, you're not going to lose. So there is no loss. This is my logical analysis, and this is the reason why in my previous analysis, I was trying to tell you that, let's err on the side of caution. Let's presume that the paper will be more difficult. I hope now you understand the fundamental philosophy behind my presuming the paper will be more difficult. Now you may or may not agree with this thing, to each their own, but I recommend that, and it may or may not happen, but I still recommend that guessing and working upon a difficulty level that will be more than any other paper that you have will always work. So I say that you guess and you make your notes based on this most pragmatic assumption that the paper in edition 51 will be much more difficult than the paper in the previous ones. And if the trend in 46 shows 47 is a bit more difficult, 50 is much, much more difficult than 47, there is no reason why the graph will go down and 51 will be less difficult. I hope you understand what I'm saying. It's imperative that you do understand. Otherwise, there is no point in pursuing it any further. If you don't agree here, do tell me. It's not prediction, it's simple logic. What do you think? Ansh ma'am, what do you say? Can you hear me?
Yeah, of course, the competition is going to be more, the seats are less, so that goes without saying. Even if the difficulty level goes down, the competition increases.
Okay, yeah, that's another way of looking at it. Right. Because I have talked about competition, but not talked about difficulty level. You were there in the previous one. So yeah, that's right. That's right. And Mohit, what do you think? Mohit, are you there?
Yes, sir. I think difficulty levels are really very high.
Very high. Okay. I'm only going at a little bit high, but okay, you're going for very high. Well, it is very high, then it becomes much, much more difficult. Fine. Okay. And Deepti ma'am, what do you say?
Sir, I agree with you.
Then it becomes difficult. Okay, more difficult. Sayanti ma'am, what is your thought upon that?
Obviously, sir, it will be difficult then, because it has been difficult. They are raising the difficulty level, so it
That
will
is
be,
the
and
trend,
competition is increasing. Competition is increasing then.
Okay,
So
we were looking
it
at
will
only
be.
one factor, but then you and Ansh ma'am are bringing in two factors. Not only the paper difficulty level, but also the competition rising every time. And let me bring the third factor. The number of seats is half from the previous one. So this is the nearly the least, starting from if you take 47 and 50 and 51. 51 has got the least number of seats. So naturally, competition is much, much higher. You're right. Now, the analysis. So from the previous tables, we can conclude that 1/3 of the question, that is 33% of the questions, 24 in total out of 70, will be analysis based questions, not one line questions, not direct questions. It will take time. 67% of those questions will be average level questions, that somebody who has covered the syllabus of MA and covered the syllabus of UPHESC at a normal kind of difficulty level will be able to attend to. Now the vacancies are less than 50% of the previous advertisement. So we totally know, and we are expecting that the cutoff, that is what they call for the interview, and the final merit, that is what they finally select, will go much higher in comparison. Now, there are a lot of people with 127.84 marks in the marks list of Advt 50, but towards the end, I think the name that I saw was Miss Sonali Bhattacharjee, and she got 127.84 questions marks right, and 26 in the interview. Now 127.84, because they were multiplying it with 2.05 or something, so that is approximately 63 questions. So in Advt 50, when the number of seats were double of Advt 51, 63 correct questions got you final selection, not the cutoff, got you final selection. When the merit is going higher because of the cutoff being higher, and that is because the vacancies being less than 50%, and I presume that for unreserved category people, for general people, it will be even tougher, because barring 47, we see that at least half of the top merit positions are taken by other categories. Therefore, in effect, if there are 30 seats in total, the general category people, they are left with only 15 seats. I'm not frightening anyone. I'm giving you information. You analyze the pattern, you analyze the merit list, and you will find out that when the lists are merged and the unreserved category, has people from all the categories, then you will find that general category people and OBC, SC, EWS category people, the proportion is a kind of lopsided thing. And in the top 20, or among the top 15 to 20 ranks, you will see that in many papers, not only in English, you will see that the trend is approximately half of them are from general category and half from other categories. Therefore, whatever the seats we talked about, let's make 50% of even those seats that will be available for general category people. So it will fall down. That is, if I'm saying that 73 correct in written examination is safe zone, you add 1 or 2 to that. You don't subtract 1 or 2 from that. So if somebody has done 73 correct questions, because there is a variation of 14 to 27, 13 marks in interview. So if you've got 73 correct questions, I am more or less guessing it that you will be finally selected. Whatever they do with you in the interview of Advt 51, and they do a lot of things in the interview, you may see that the top 10 of the merit list, some of them this time around have got 14 marks, and that is not new. So it happens. Interview is a lot of it luck also, but then a lot of it is planning. We'll talk about that later. So if you've got 73 correct questions, and that is happening with people who have got average GS like us, 15 correct questions in GS, for them they will have to do 58 correct questions in English literature part. If you go up to 20 correct questions in GS, then 53 in literature part, and so on and so forth. But the total must reach 70 plus. 1, 2, 3, whatever you want to do, it's your analysis. But my analysis is that if you want to stay in the safe zone, that has to be 73. You may or may not agree with me, but that has to be 73. You have made your analysis already, I know. What do you say to that, Mohit?
Yeah, I agree with you, sir.
73, does it not look a bit very high? I mean, final selection at 73. This time around, 62 or 63? How many questions were selected finally, Mohit? Do you remember?
62, sir.
62. Okay. So I'm wrong here. Unreserved, not 63, but 62. So make this 72, not 73. But then 70 plus remains 1, 2, or 3 marks, whatever it is. But that's what I have extrapolated upon the number of seats available for general and the data. What do you say, Sayanti ma'am, to this? Is 70 plus idea incorrect in some way, lopsided?
No, sir. I think that in order to be safe, we have to score anyhow 70 plus. And there is no harm in setting the goals higher. Otherwise, if we will set 65, we may fall down to 60.
No,
So
65
it's
is no
better to-
question. 65 this time
That's why,
round.
that's why I'm saying that we have to set it higher so that even if
Yeah.
we fall down, we will fall
65
down
people
above
this time
70.
around, they will be called for the interview. For sure, they will be called for the interview, but only that. They will be called for the interview. 65 has, I don't think they have hope.
No, final selection they don't
No,
have.
not 65. In this time around also, they called like what, 53 or 54? What was the final cutoff?
55.
55. Okay.
It was 50 final. For interview, it was 54 or 55, I think.
Yeah, I do
And for
remember
final,
54
it
or
was
something
62.
like that. But then those who went there for the interview, 54, 55, up to 60 marks, they knew that they would not be selected. If you look at the number of persons who were absent, you will see that these are the persons who are close to the bottom line. They knew themselves, therefore they did not appear in the interview. They were absent, and they were right. So I know some of them personally.
Yes, sir. And sir, even as you said that 50% seats are only taken by the general category.
And that's happening in
So
all
I
the
had
subjects.
actually-
That's not only in English
Yes,
literature, it's happening in all the subjects.
Yes, sir. Yeah, and I had actually analyzed that I had 61 questions correct. So I had analyzed somehow that even if I get around 26, 27, I may not make it to the final list. I will be in the waiting list. And somehow my analysis was correct. I got 26, but I am in the waiting list, not the final list.
Ma'am, what
So-
rank in waiting? What position?
8 ranks, sir.